What's up, guys? This is Nick coming at you with another video on how to improve your trading. This episode is going to be really powerful. It's very actionable. It's something that I use in my own trading. And when I speak to the clients I've coached, we will go through to start off with their trades, and every single trade that is not their strategy, we look at and we try to understand why. Quite often, these trades, the client knew that they'd taken a bad trade even before it had finished. And I'm sure everybody watching has that feeling of you kind of take a trade, and the moment you click the buy button or the short button or whatever, you go, I don't think I should have taken this one. This isn't a great trade. And you still do it. This is going to help you resolve that. You always have to do more work to resolve the underlying mental game issue. I'm not saying that this is going to fix your trading forever, but this can have a pretty big impact. So definitely pay attention. So first of all, anger, frustration, disappointment. How often do you take a trade? Just think about it, or go through, pause this and go through your journal. You take a trade, you take a loss, and you get frustrated that you took it because it wasn't exactly your strategy. Now, this could be, there was a small minor detail that meant that you went, this is kind of good enough, and you talk yourself into it. Sometimes it was you'd kind of maybe taken a loss from another trade and then took a really bad revenge trade. But just go through your journal, look at your last 20, 30 trades, and just mark each one where you go, you know what, I'm pissed at myself for taking that trade because I shouldn't have done. Right? And quite often, it'll be a situation where you take it and it's like, you kind of know you shouldn't take it. Right? In fact, most of the time you take a bad trade, you get that irritable feeling of, I shouldn't really be in this. And you go, maybe I should just close it out. But then the feeling of, what if it works out comes in, right? And you can't stop yourself from taking that trade. So have a look and maybe comment down below if you've got your journal with you. Look through your last 20 trades. How many of them would you say that was not an exact trade based on my strategy? So why do we take the bad trades? When you have a setup or a trade that is close to setting up, right? And we're like, yeah, this trend line's kind of there. This is kind of a good enough price level for a breakout. Mentally, you're going to begin looking for the trades, right? What this does, it takes all of the maybes and they become clearer and clearer trades. Quite often, what I'll see people doing, I'll hear them doing, is they'll begin looking at a different indicator. So they'll begin being like, this kind of looks good. Oh, look, this is the 20 EMA, which I never use, and it's just bounced off of that, so that's an indicator, right? You're trying to find a reason to trade. Okay, this is probably, for me, my biggest kind of battle that I have when I see a setup that I know isn't quite there, but it feels right, and I'm like, I really want to take this, and what if it works, right? That sort of FOMO we kind of feeling. And as a result, internally, I'm trying to make it a trade. Another example might be when you get bored or you're seeing others doing well and you haven't got a setup, your mental power just gradually drains away and bang, easy to make a mistake. Maybe you've become emotional due to a loss or a missed trade and you begin to lose access to that higher level thinking and you just impulsively take a trade and you kind of know it's not something you should be doing, but you do it anyway. In each of these examples, I really like to use the analogy of the chimp. There's a book called The Chimp Paradox. I encourage every trader to read it. It's not about trading, it's about sort of like how we process things internally. And our chimp essentially is our fight-flight mechanism. It's when you get into an argument with someone and you're not really talking through it logically and you just want to win the argument. Maybe when you're driving and you get cut up and you go crazy at the person. It makes no logical sense that you do it, but your chimp reacts, right? And in each of these examples above, where we're looking for a trade, where we get bored and our willpower drains away, when we become emotional, this is when our chimp begins to take over. And as it gradually stops the human from thinking, it becomes more and more likely that you take the trade. Right? In that looking for a trade, well, your chimp is all of a sudden alerted. Oh, maybe there's a trade here. We probably should take this. That voice inside you that goes, what if this is a winner? That's your chimp saying, I want to take the trade. When you get bored, you're seeing other people doing well. That's your chimp going, we haven't taken any trades. What we're doing doesn't work. Why don't we follow this guy? When you've taken a loss, your chimp might lash out and go, I feel bad because I've taken a loss and it looks like it's still going to work out. So I'm going to ignore my strategy and just take the trade. That's your chimp talking. When it takes over, the human isn't really able to think as much. Now, what this can kind of look like, and I love to do this, is scaling it 1 to 10. And I do this with my clients on whatever emotional issue they're going through. So let's say they're struggling with FOMO, we'll do 1 to 10, what does it look like? Say they're revenge trading, 1 to 10, what does it look like? And sort of like a bare bones of that is 1 out of 10, the human is in control. The chimp is quiet. It's good spelling there. It's chimp is quiet. No, chimp is quiet. So, there's no emotion. You're able to just sit back and relax and see things pretty clearly. When you hit that 3 out of 10, maybe that's a point where you get a little bit irked by the fact that your setup nearly got there but didn't, right? It didn't. One of your criteria wasn't met. Well, now your chimp is starting to see maybe there's a trade, and it begins to investigate, right? And this is kind of when you begin looking for confirmation, looking at those other indicators. It's building a case for a trade. Now, at a 5 out of 10, the chimp begins to take control. The human will begin to fight back, and this is the point where often you'll kind of go, I probably shouldn't take this. But the problem is your chimp is stronger. And unless that reason that your human gives it is way too strong for the chimp to really fight, or appeases the chimp in some way, the chimp will always win out. And that's why once you get to a 5 out of 10, for me, 5 out of 10 is like red alert, this is when you're going to make a mistake. You reach that level, the likelihood is, unless you take very decisive and precise action, which we'll get into in a bit, you will end up taking a trade. And then at a 7 out of 10 and beyond, the chimp has full control, the human is unable to fight back, and any signal could now be taken. And I would say that most traders actually operate all the time at a 3 out of 10, right? If you're a losing trader, you're probably at a 3 out of 10 when you start the day. You're looking for a trade immediately, right? You might have even in a pre-market gone, okay, there's nothing perfect that sets my criteria. Let's keep looking. Let's go deeper. Oh, here's something that maybe I could trade. Oh, this isn't really my strategy, but because nothing's set up, maybe I could trade it like this today. That's already at a 3 to 5 out of 10. You're already at a stage before the market has even opened where you're trying to make a case for a trade. And we all know what happens when you get that idea in your head. It's very difficult to then not take the trade. Okay, so most traders are 3 to 5 out of 10 all the time. It takes one small thing to push them over the edge. So you need to be aware of this and kind of see it for what it is. So what is the solution? This is my personal solution. This is what works really well for me. Now, I would rather miss the occasional legitimate trade because I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'm 90% sure, 80% sure. I'd rather miss that one, a week, maybe one a month. And as a result, avoid all of the bad trades than taking every single trade to make sure that I do catch that one legitimate trade. Okay, so for me, it's kind of like a black and white. It's like, unless I'm 100% certain, it's not a trade. That's the ideal solution. To do this, you kind of need to cut out all of the clear, what this does is it will cut out all of the clear bad trades and all of the close trades, right? That's where you want to start off with. Now, the big thing here is this doesn't mean that in the long run, you're not going to go back to some of those and go, these trades work, I should take them. It's a case of where we're starting is saying all of those bad trades need to go, and all of the trades where you're 50-50 on also need to go. And a big thing that I do with my trading partner is we will establish a situation where, okay, I'm not 100% sure on this, so we're not going to take it. And we look back and we go, okay, this was a gray area trade. How can we make this black and white so next time we don't have that 50-50, we're 100% yes or 100% no. Okay, so it's a good exercise as well to actually understand your edge better, right? If you're sitting there and you're going, I'm 50-50 on this trade, I'm not sure. If you take it, then the result's going to be emotional. Whereas if you don't take it, you can then look back and go, okay, there's no emotion because you didn't take the trade, or less emotion. How can I've identified this as a 50-50. What can I do in the future to know when this is a trade and know when it isn't a trade? So it's actually a really good method to improve your edge as well as just your decision making. Now, I have one question. I have one question that you can ask to start resolving this issue. And the reason that I use this one question is it does two things. One, it helps you to step out of the moment and see sort of like what will happen. a little bit, not in terms of what will happen with the trade, but what will happen internally if you take that trade. So it helps you to step back. And it also kind of immediately impacts how the chimp feels. Because a big thing you need to do is you need to do something that essentially goes to the chimp, I know that you're looking for a trade, but consider this. And it actually needs to be something that they have to pause and look at as well, and the chimp and the human come to the same conclusion. That question is, if this trade loses, will you be pissed at yourself for taking that trade? I have this written down next to me all the time. And if I'm ever in a situation where I'm like, am I 100% sure on this? It kind of looks really good. What I will do is I will just read through. If this trade loses, will I be pissed at myself for taking the trade? And if I stand there and go, yeah, I will be furious if I take this trade and it's a loss because it is not clear, then I'm not going to take the trade. Now, why does that have so much impact? Like I said, it pulls you out. It makes you go, well, let's think about this. If this is a loss, I'm going to be pissed at myself. I'm going to be annoyed at my performance. I'm going to be disappointed in myself. Now, what this does is it tells the chimp, red flag, if we do this, right, if we do this, you're going to feel bad. And the chimp doesn't want to feel bad, right? So it's actually hitting both sides of your brain, both the human logical thought, which is already kind of like going, this shouldn't be a trade, and also the chimp thought, which goes, I don't want to feel bad about myself. And you can extend this. If this trade is a winner, will you feel that good? Probably not, right? You'll probably feel a little bit guilty. Okay. So the big thing with this is you need to keep practicing it, right? It's not going to be the first time it might not work. That's fine. Don't give up on it. Okay. Every time you see a trade and you are not 100% certain, maybe you write that list of 1 to 10 of what the chimp looks like. Write down 1 to 10 what you look like. What do you start doing? You catch yourself at a 4 out of 10. Okay. Ask yourself that question. If this loses, are you going to be pissed at yourself for taking the trade? Every time you ask yourself that question, you are going to you're going to pause the thought process of I'm looking for a trade, and you're actually going to go, hang on, maybe I shouldn't take this. Right? It's going to bring you back. The more you do it, the better you're going to become. You also want to get good at asking it early enough that your chimp is not fully in control, because a 4 out of 10 chimp or a 5 out of 10 chimp or a 3 out of 10 chimp, if it's asked this, is probably going to be calm enough to go, yeah, you know what, I don't really want to feel bad at myself, so we'll let this one pass and I won't feel too bad about it. But a 9 out of 10 chimp, if you try and ask it this question, it's going to knock you out. It's going to say, F you, I do not care about your human logic, we're taking this trade. And if it's a loss, I will deal with it, right? That's what an 8 or 9 out of 10 chimp sounds like. So if you ask yourself that question and you find yourself, given those sort of answers, well, you probably should just turn your PC off or whatever for the day. But just be aware that like at different stages of emotion, you're going to get a slightly different response. Now, also try to attach the value of this decision so that you work with your chimp. And what I mean by this is, instead of looking at your P&L, right? Because there will be traders who, there's a specific example which I'm not going to name, but it's a guy that I know who, if he loses a few $100s, he will, plaster over it kind of thing. He'll be like, oh, it's only a few $100s. It's fine. My account can handle it. Okay. And as a result, that trade's like, oh, forget about it. If you attach the value of this decision to, if this loses, will you be pissed? If you attach your trading success to the performance and your accuracy, well, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter whether you lose $10 or $1,000 on that trade, because you should not have taken it and you'll be pissed at yourself. That means you've done a bad thing, and your chimp doesn't like doing bad things, so it will respect it. You need to make your self-worth, and I feel like I say this in every video, you need to attach your self-worth to how accurately you execute your strategy. And if that's the case, if you're at a point where all you're focused on is how, for me, I look at it like last month, I was 88% accurate with my strategy. Awesome. How can I get to 92%? How can I get to 95%? For someone else, it might be how to get to 70%. If you attach your self-worth to that, when you ask this question, your chimp will have to side with you. Another little tip as well is, and I saw this on another video, it actually works pretty well, is give your chimp rewards for following this advice. And this isn't, giving yourself a cookie or something like that. It's instead try to phrase the question or phrase the advice in a way that your chimp can be happy with not taking the trade. So, for example, okay, this time I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to be pissed at myself, so this time I'm not going to take it. But next time you can, right? Here's the thing. You say this every single time. Next time never comes, right? Every time you repeat the same thing every time. Your chimp doesn't know that, right? If you're sitting there and you're really torn, you're like, I kind of really want to take this, but I know I shouldn't. And you ask yourself the question, I'm going to be pissed at myself. The follow-up, if you're still battling, is saying, for just today, I'm not going to take this trade, but tomorrow I will. And that sentence alone will tell your chimp saying, okay, you know what? Calm down. If you calm down, you can have a banana, right? It's essentially what it's doing. Using those pieces of advice together are going to help you stop taking those bad trades. And if we just go back a few, the main thing is miss the occasional legitimate trade so that you miss all of the bad ones. If we went through, in fact, do it now as well. Go through your journal. Look at your last 20, 30, 40 trades. Cross and pull out all the ones where you say that was a 100% bad trade. You get rid of all of those, and then you pull out all of the ones where you go, I'm 50-50 on this, it probably wasn't good enough. Get rid of all of those. See what your P&L column looks like. When I did this, I went from being a trader who was making I think I had a win percentage like 28, 30%, losing quite a bit. When I got rid of those trades, win percentage was at 70% or 65%, making a lot. So the solution is to get rid of all of the bad ones and all of the maybe ones and be left with just the perfect ones. The way you do that, you ask yourself that question, you keep on practicing it, and you try to get to a point where your chimp is happy with the decision. So this is a little bit more actionable than some of my other videos, so really use this. It's very, very powerful, and like I said, I use this. I'm going to put out a video talking about an exact trade that helped me. It was about a $1,400 swing on one trade because of using this, so look out for that. And yeah, check out the other videos. Go through your journal, use this piece of advice. It will change your trading drastically if you keep on using it and you keep on practicing it. Thanks for watching till the end of the video. Just adding a quick piece in here to let you know what extra services I have to help you become a better trader. On my site, guidedtradingmeditations.com, you can find my new course, The Trading Blueprint, which gives you a full guide on how to create an edge, test it, start trading it, and scale up. There are sections included on how to find weaknesses in your trading, and then how to resolve them, as well as many other bits of information that I've gathered in my years of experience. The aim of the course is to make you a fully independent trader, so you don't need to pay ever-growing monthly fees to be in a chat room. There's no specific edge needed. You can use this in any market with any trading style. If you're at a stage in your trading where you're struggling and would prefer a more in-depth look at your own personal weaknesses and ongoing support, you can also book one-on-one coaching with me on the site. There's a cool breakdown on the screen right now, so pause the video and read through it, and if it's something you're interested in, check it out. There's a ton of other content on the site that I'm really proud of and I've really enjoyed making. So if you're interested, please check it out. I'm sure there'll be something on there that can help your trading. You can reach me on Twitter. My handle is in the description down below. You can send me a DM if you'd like any more information. And make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with future videos.